Okay, recording.
I'm looking at you chewing, eating some food. Yeah, that's what I see.
Um, no, sir.
No, we don't want that to be the recording. Okay. So I do like to start with the teamwork because really that's the driving engine and the force behind everything that we do. If we don't if we don't work together to make it happen, then it's just not going to happen. And Bishop McLeod in Houston, Texas, he always talks about the team of three. It's you plus your two. It's those three individuals together. That's the strong chord, the strong band that makes everything happen. So everybody that comes on board, we definitely trying to help everybody find their two people. And I believe that those two people are in your pathway. They're there where you're seeking, and you should find them. So teamwork does definitely make the dream work with this one. Next. So if you notice, we got a little bit different here on the slide because I really want to emphasize that our legal standing. If you look at the Jobs Act, where crowdfunding was birthed into a law back in 2012 by President Obama, it has some key words in it that we really need to pay attention to. And like always, I'm going to encourage you to Google the law yourself, the Jobs Act law, and just read it. It's a pretty easy, short read. But the key word that sticks out to me a lot is entrepreneur, as opposed to business owner. The umbrella of entrepreneur has business owner underneath it. But most of us know that you don't have to be a business owner to be an entrepreneur. So the larger umbrella is the entrepreneur. And anybody who's has an attempt to earn or raise money in a way other than a job, then you're an entrepreneur. You're doing it in an entrepreneurial way. And so we always encourage everybody to have an entrepreneur spirit when you're trying to do crowdfunding because you get to be creative. I mean, that's the fun part about it. You get to be creative. You get to, do things that you don't ordinarily do. You get to do things in a different way. And the really cool thing about it is with crowdfunding, it's really an unlimited platform for us to do a lot of things. Crowdfunding is used for your if you have a project you're working on, if you have a cause that you're supporting, or if you just have a venture that you want to do. It's a large category of areas that you can raise money for through crowdfunding that can help make those dreams come true. All right. The second part that is a platform of financial backing or footing would be the gift tax law. From the same amount that was there for in 2019 was carried over to 2020 from the IRS. It says that any one person can gift another person $15,000 in a calendar year without any concern of a tax that you have to claim it in your taxes. Neither you, the giver, or the person receiving has to write that off in a tax scenario. And any one person can gift up to $15,000 to multiple different people. And that helps us in our donation. If you look to the right, you'll see that I also added our donation form that has a clear statement in there. Again, I want everybody to read the statement. I know a lot of us send out the donations and we wrap the donation we wrap the money in the donation, but I really want you to read what the form says. And one clear thing is that it's when you donate whatever amount you're donating, you're doing that with no expectations of a return. You're not looking for any compensation in return for anything that you've given. But on the bottom of the form, in our disclaimer, we also want you to indicate if you do want to participate in your very own crowdfunding activity. And so you get to circle yes, and then that way you have indicated that yeah, I do want to be a member of the Dream Team crowdfunding community, so that I can raise funds for my venture, my cause, or my project. All right, next slide. Taking a long time to change. So in accordance again with the gift not the gift act but the Jobs Fund Act that was made into a law, then I want to make clear that definition of an entrepreneur, right? And you can read it there. And so just want you to know that you have the ability to to express your entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I mean, if you really think about it, that's all we're asking you to do. You know, think about it. If you have money as an issue out of the way, you probably do a few things different, right? If you wasn't constantly thinking about, well, I need a little bit more money to do this or to do that, and you had a little bit more money to do this and do that, you probably do a few different things. I want to bring that out of you. I want you to really explore your entrepreneurial spirit. Be bold in what you think about doing. You know, I dare you to start a school, or I dare you to pursue your hobby that you've been thinking about for 20 years, you know, that you couldn't do because life got in the way. You know what I mean? Explore your entrepreneurial spirit, because with crowdfunding, you can raise, you know, a lot of sums of money in order to take care of the everyday mundane money requirement. Okay? So again, it's a cause, it's a venture, or it's also a project that you can do. Next slide. These next two slides will be the most important slides, that if you take nothing away from everything else that I said, please understand the methodology and the philosophy, because it's actually how we do what we do. So when you contribute $25 in a donation to somebody that is already in the crowdfunding community, hold on, lost my light real quick. That's already in the crowdfunding community, then you've done more than just giving $25. You happen to fund their financial project. And every one of the donations that they receive means a lot. Even your $25. Even your $25. And $12 is an admin fee that's one time for life. You know, we had a couple of times when we had to contact, I think we need to hit mute or something on somebody's phone or a computer. So the admin fee, we had a discussion about admin fee with a couple of new members today, and we were able to actually contact admin, and by the time we really got onto the next topic, it was already taken care of, whatever the issue was that admin needed to take care of. By the time we communicated with them, they had taken care of it right away. And that is really indicative of how admin really works. They work in a very fast manner, pretty much any day of the week, to include Sunday. And we really appreciate them so much, because they are attentive to what we're doing here in the community, and we need them. And so for $12 one time, that takes care of your admin fee. Plus your first seed donation of $25 is a total of $37. That's all anybody would need out of pocket, one time $37. And you plant that seed. You say, go seed and grow, and return us a harvest for our family, our future, and our friends. And so when you start receiving your donations, it's because you have brought on 2 people to the team who brought on 4, and then the next 8 donations are yours. The next 8 donations are yours, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. But when you start receiving your donations, the first 2 becomes another seed. That means if you choose to move to the next level of $50, from the 25 to the 50, your first 2 contributions on the 25 is planting a seed on the $50 wheel. And the next 4 contributions you receive from the 25, it plants a seed on the $100 wheel. So as you're birthing the seed, it's already germinating. It's already making things happen on the 50. It's already contributing by planting a seed on the 100. And then as you complete the $100 wheel, so that means you complete the 25, you complete the 50, and as you complete the 100, that means that each one of those wheels, you're going to receive 8 donations. You're going to contribute one time, and you'll get an 8-time donation back. So as you complete the 25, as you complete the 50, and as you're completing the 100, the last 4 donations on the 100 is used to come back in, meaning to restart or replant the seed on the 25, the 50, the 100, and then also to plant the seed for the first time on the $250 level. Pretty amazing thing. And when you really start to look at this and look at what type of contributions you can receive, it should be kind of a goosebump moment for you, or something like that, because it's so powerful what's happening there. It always, makes me feel happy that when we help other people to do this, and they get the blessing of having that financial that financial blessing reach their mailbox and they get to open it and use it for whatever they're trying to use it for. A quick testimony, you know, one of our partners, Sinette in Virginia, you know, the other day she got like 8 contributions on the 50. Pretty much came in the same couple of days span of time. And it was right on time for her. You know, I mean, I think any of us who receive $400 at one time is kind of right on time. You know what I mean? And so for her, it was an awesome feeling for her to get that. And it was awesome that she shared it with me, that it had a tremendous impact on what she was trying to do. So that's what our seeds do. It's going to help somebody's life. It's real. Next slide. So here's the philosophy. Remember I told you these 2 sides are the most important to understand. Our methodology I just explained, and now it's our philosophy. Once you have donated that seed and you bring in, we help you to find 2 people that are meant to be on your team. I mean, if you look for them, you'll find them. And then you help them to find their 4, and you help the 4 find their 8, and those 8 are contributing to you, the 1. So the 3rd level of people that come onto your team, where there's 8 people at, those are the 8 donations that come back to you in the number 1 spot. It's a $200, a $200 donation, meaning that you gave $25 to somebody. Think about this for a second. You came on board and paid a $12 admin fee to take care of all your admin stuff. Then you also contributed with that same $37. You contributed to somebody else's campaign, which is awesome in and of itself. But you have an expectation of a return that's 8 times more than what you have contributed. So you contribute 25 and you're looking for 8 donations of 25. That's $200. Now the same thing happens on every single level. So when you go to the $50 level, as I mentioned, you contribute a $50 seed, you're expecting $50 in return. You do a $100 seed, you're expecting 8 donations in return. You do a $250 seed, you're expecting 8 donations in return. And it goes all the way to $10,000 level. Go to the next slide. Let me show you some money. So the donations are right here spelled out. When we talked about the first 3 levels, 25, 50, and 100. That returns to you $1,400 because 8 times 25, 50, and 100, which is 175, the 8 times that is $1,400. But look at phase 2. It goes from $1,400 to $26,000. That's a significant jump. But the only thing that happened is you took care and handled your business on the 25, 50, and 100. What does that mean? That means you allowed the team to help you find 2 people who also contributed and started with $37. Then they found their 2 people each who contributed $37, and then those 4 found their 2. And that was the beginning cycle. That was your completed team of 15 people. You plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 is 15 people. Now, as you climb through the $50 and the $100 level, those 14 other people on your wheel are doing the same exact thing you did. We're helping them to find 2 people, who find 4 people, who find 8 people. And when those 14 people on your originally archived wheel find their 2 people and their 4 people and their 8 people, ladies and gentlemen, that is 15 people who have a completed archive wheel. It's 127 people, and you're able to flow through the 250, 500, and 1,000 with those people with little to no resistance at all. It's a kind of a work of art, a thing of beauty. It's a masterpiece, if you want to use Bruce Chapman's word, the coach. He said we're creating a masterpiece. And that's exactly what we're doing here. The final phase, if you see the numbers in the lower right, that's $254,200. All you're doing is completing level 7, 8, and 9. And with a simple philosophy that everybody that comes to the community contributes $37 and find 2 people. See, listen, ladies and gentlemen, everything that we do, all of our marketing material, all of our calls, all of our YouTube channel material, all of our website stuff, everything that we have provided for people to succeed is all centered around $37 and 2 people. It's a simple, easy, duplicatable process. All you have to do is just jump on board, and when you have any questions, you got to raise your hand so we can answer. If we don't know you have a question, we can't answer it. All right, so always seek clarity so you can do the best you can to create your team of 15 people. Next slide. So we only got one more slide after this one, but I just wanted to emphasize that, committing to this philosophy that I mentioned to you and the methodology and the teamwork, those were the three most important things that you should have a commitment to. Well, what does that look like? Committing to the philosophy means understanding what it is and why it is. The methodology the same way and the teamwork the same way. Understand that you really do have teammates here. You really do have people that want to see you succeed. You really do have people to put a lot of thought to this to make sure that you get the answer that you personally need. Because like I said last night in Houston, the answer that you need is not necessarily the same answer that somebody else's need. So I can answer 10 other people, but if I don't answer yours, then we failed the mission. Because everybody has a question, we need to answer the question for you. So what does that look like? Your consistency and your persistency. Your persistency. Those two things, they're important. But you get a reward for that. A big time reward, not just monetarily, but your consistency and persistency allows you to help other people. It allows you to continue to seed to other people's campaigns as well. Not just all about you in this one, it's about you and the people you're helping. But because the system is so predictable when you're accountable, man, it's almost a no-brainer, right? So we got to understand the system so we can duplicate it. And in the end, the predictability will become obvious when you're accountable to yourself. And I want to just sit here for a second on being accountable to yourself. It's not about anybody else. I promise you that. When you have you understand what you're doing it for, what are you looking to seek to get funded from the fundraising efforts, when you have that clear vision that you want to accomplish something that requires some money to do, then that's being accountable to that vision that you have. It's being accountable to your why. It's being accountable to, just think about it for a second. People have all kind of things they're trying to fund for. And it could be as simple as a vacation. We go on a cruise every year. I could say, well, I want to do my fundraiser to make sure that the family goes on the cruise next year. And that would be acceptable. But it also could be somebody's wedding in your family. Your daughter's wedding could be the thing that you're raising funds for. It could be you're trying to move to a bigger home so it can accommodate your growing family. Just a number of things. And remember, the rule is that if you're being creative in how you're trying to raise funds, you're being an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, you can participate in the Cash Crowdfund platform because the president signed crowdfunding into law back in 2012. All right, next slide. And we'll end on this note here. I think that because we care so much about the people that we're helping, that we're able to put some things in motion, right? Some systems in motion that we believe can help out the vast majority of everybody. But then there's a few that we might not have thought about what their particular needs was. Every now and then I still get some people saying, Michael, I'm stuck on the wheel and it's not moving. And so a lot of times we can help them. We can help them to get the wheel moving because maybe it's just something they didn't understand. But then there's those few people that we never get the answer to the question because they never ask it. So the critical task is what I want you to focus on here. The reason why we have this critical task and the reason why it's the only critical task that we're saying must happen. And the reason why is because it circumvents a lot of potential issues that people could have. So the critical task is nothing more than having a conversation with the person that's about to join your team, or maybe they've just joined it and hadn't really got started yet. The conversation centers around, what are you trying to accomplish with this platform? What are you trying to raise money for? I need you to understand what it is that it is. You got to understand it more than I do. I'm not asking you the question so that I can understand it. I'm asking you the question so that you understand it and that you believe in it and it's something you want to do. And the second part of the conversation around the critical task, other than what are you doing it for, is, do you know that we're going to help you? Do you understand that probably 99% of the question that you may have, we've already come up with the answer because we developed the system. It's our system that we created, and it was designed to help everybody have the $37 and find two people. So whatever your question is, 99% of the time,
we probably have the answer to help you get beyond whatever that situation is so you can make it. You owe it to the people that love you. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to people who you don't even know. It's a responsibility almost if you really think about it. So in conclusion, let's just end with commitment. Next slide. It's a commitment, like I told you, you got to be accountable to yourself. So the commitment is to you. But here's the key about commitment. If you can read some of the things on the slide here, the collage of commitment stuff, we got Bishop T.D. Jakes up there, we got Tony Robbins. But on the far right-hand side, underscored by the word entrepreneur, we believe this is the one that you really got to think about when you think about commitment. A lot of people make decisions on emotions, and that's fine, but you got to understand that emotions are fleeting and they don't last long. So you watch this, you got to do it this way. Think about this for a second. If you or somebody you know who joined the team came on for an emotional reason, which is okay, because it could be an emotional reason why you need the funds, and that's fine. But then you got to back that up with logic. It's got to make sense to you logically. That's why we ask that critical question. And then you get to back that logic up with emotion. So it goes emotion, logic, emotion. Or if you made a calculated decision that says, this makes sense to me. I do need to raise about $100,000 over the next couple of months. This could be my vehicle to do that because I can do this, I can do that. It's logical. Then you need to get happy about it. You need to be committed to it emotionally and be like, oh, I'm about to get into this thing. I'm about to make it happen. And then you got to back that back up with logical and say, yeah, it does make sense from the logical side and the emotional side. Now, logically, I'm about to rock this thing out. So whether you do it emotionally, logically, emotionally, or logically, emotionally, logically, you need all three. You just can't drive the emotion and hope that it lasts longer than what it's going to last. And you can't just think that logically it makes sense and you're not backing up with a feeling. You got to have both of them. All right. So I wish everybody the best of luck. Understand that the dream team is here to make everybody's dream come true to the best of our ability, but we can't do it without you. You have to participate. And the way you participate is if it's not going the way you want it to, if you stuck, if you don't understand, then you got to ask the question so we can get you unstuck and get you moving towards your financial goals and your financial dreams. With that, thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day. And you can stop the recording. But Bruce, if you got something to add, man, come on, chime in.